Hello, guys, and welcome back to another episode of No More Kids in Scientology. In this episode, we are going to be talking about a question that has been presented to us in the last couple of weeks a lot, as there's been an influx of different subscribers that are just starting to hear what we're talking about and truly contextualizing what we are advocating for on a daily basis, you guys, because we need to educate our community in what it is that matters, what needs to change, and why it needs to change. Hello, ex-witness Mormon. Will you be reading more of the book? Yes, we're going to be covering that book more. To be honest, we had to take a break from it because it was last chapter's been so intense. I literally kid you not, since that last episode, we had to literally put it all down for a minute. So we decided to be answering some of the questions that are coming up as to what are we here doing on YouTube? What are we advocating for? Why does it matter that we talk about Lisa Marie Presley? Why are we contextualizing her childhood as a kid that grew up inside Scientology hotels and commercial buildings? As all of you know, Priscilla dumped Lisa to Scientology when she was extremely young during her formative years. And this is what we're raising awareness about, you guys, because a lot of the Scientology story has been so overinflated with a ton of altered importances, things that do not matter whatsoever in the grand scheme of things. Because in fact, we've had a 74-year duration of the policies of a full-blown convicted felon being pitched with a full straight face by the American media, who purports that a convicted felon is an American bred god that is doing a religion. And we're talking about our own personal experiences for ourselves as kids that also grew up in Scientology. And as you can see right here, being scapegoated. And this is a great Instagram account that I recommend all of you go follow, Nate. When you are the scapegoat, your family will tell you anything but the truth. In their minds, they're not lying to you. They've grown to believe you are the problem and are comfortable with that lie. Their goal is to make you pay for their denial. So that's what we're advocating about. Like, that is exactly sentence by sentence what a child inside of a Scientology hotel commercial building that grows up with a family who's really not your family. That's what they're grooming from the very beginning. From when you're a child, you're like, you're a thetan. You landed on planet Earth because you are already aberrated. You're already a degraded being. You already have a case. You have to clean yourself. Every child is being told that they're degraded, that they're disgusting, that they have an aberrated mind. So this is how they're being scapegoated. Exactly with this exact formula here. Scientology families telling anything but the truth. They're not telling anybody what they're really doing inside of those audits, you guys. They're not telling you at all what it is. They're lying on a daily basis because they would be so ashamed, they would be so embarrassed, it would be so indefensible for them to carry out their so-called religion in plain sight. Because guess what? It wouldn't stand a shred of scrutiny. That's why all the vetting is going on at the Scientology hotels. That's why they're very pressed to be like, oh, do you really qualify to be here? Or maybe you just don't qualify. So when you are the scapegoat, your family will tell you, oh, this is the same one. If you felt dismissed when you spoke up and shared your story, that was not a reflection of you or your value. It was a reality of culture determined not to feel their own pain, therefore not willing to make room for yours. Your pain matters. I mean, think about the amount of kids that have come forward from Scientology alone. How many kids have come forward with their own story of dysfunction, their own story of being adulticized from inception, you guys? I mean, again, they're treating you, it's a very weird thing to say because it's like, how could you really treat a real child like an adult? Like, it's so deranged. It's so deranged. Like, the extreme is so, it's unthinkable. It really is. So with that, I wanted to, this is going to be a short live, but I wanted to share with you guys this statement that I wrote down to see if we can continue to advocate and put the message in front of people and continue having your guys' support, hearing, understanding why it matters, so we can actually truly raise awareness. So what I wrote here is Little Bodies, Big Scapegoats: How Scientology Parents Betray Their Children Using the Doctrine of L. Ron Hubbard. In the twisted world of Scientology, children are not children. They are, in fact, scapegoats. They are not vulnerable, developing human beings in need of protection, support, or guidance. Instead, Scientology treats them as thetans in little bodies, with the full brunt of responsibility, blame, and punishment that the adults in their lives deem it's so-called highly appropriate and apparently also, quote, fully legal. They are weapons. They are symbols, excuses, even sacrifices on the altar of L. Ron Hubbard's so-called tech, the tech of L. Ron Hubbard. This is not parental love. It is calculated, premeditated abuse, dressed up in pseudoscientific and self-serving language that Hubbard left behind, soaked in his contempt for anyone who didn't fall in line with his twisted, indefensible criminal agenda. First, let's set the record straight on what L. Ron Hubbard, a convicted felon, really thought about family. This is the man who said, quote, "The aberrated person is hard on the family." But the twist he applied was this: it's never Hubbard's tech that's wrong. It's always you and your family that is wrong. And this plays out devastatingly when Scientology parents who pay to be taught that any criticism of Scientology is akin to treason. That's how they turn on their own children. Yes, the cannibalism of their own kids is what they are essentially getting off on. The power trips they take, compliments of their grandmaster daddy, their beloved convicted felon, L. Ron Hubbard. Children in Scientology aren't seen as innocent. They are seen as potential enemies, out ethics, bodies, ripe for handling, or under threat of disconnection. Under Hubbard's warped philosophy, if a Scientology parent is suffering, the child is immediately suspect. And we've seen that already play out. If you haven't seen Kelly Copter's video of how her parents told her that she was the suppressive, that she was the reason that they were failing in Scientology, that she was the reason as a 6-year-old for their life to be going awry, that is the level of disconnect that this rhetoric leads these parents down a very dark path. If a parent deems the child to be out ethics, quote unquote, often just another term for human emotion, pain, or genuine need. The child is treated with suspicion, distrust, and derision. In Scientology's warp framework, there is no room for a child's emotional development. There is only case. And kids in Scientology are considered as much at cost for their own suffering as the adults. This is a collective of parents. This is not one single parent. Was Priscilla one of them? Yes. Was my mother one of them? Yes. How many more Scientology mothers can you put on a piece of paper? Too many to name right now. But yet all of them, like complete, utter, bumbling idiots, are following the rhetoric of a convicted felon. Blind was leading the blind, David Miscavige. You're right. Y'all are blind AF. Y'all are completely blind out of your MF minds. Start looking at L. Ron Hubbard with critical thinking skills. Stop being an idiot that gets told, don't think critical thoughts of L. Ron Hubbard because otherwise you really have a deficiency. What kind of idiot can you totally be? That's called being a pathetic idiot. You just read policies and then you just go interpret them exactly as written because, oh, God forbid I really alter what the convicted felon wrote. This isn't just callous, it's strategic. By deeming children responsible for their own abuse, the entire system absolves the parent, the organization, and Hubbard's tech of any wrongdoing. Let that sink in for all the dysfunction we just called out on Lisa Marie. It's not just callous. It's not that they're just like, it's strategic. Lisa was blamed for her own essay as a child, responsible for that essay. Responsible for it. At the tender age of, what did she say? 11 years old. At 11 years old, she was told she was responsible for that. For her own abuse. And then the entire system absolved who? Priscilla. The man that Priscilla broke her an alleged admission of guilt. That's what's alleged in the book. That you, Priscilla, you brokered an admission of guilt out of your own boyfriend. The entire system absolves the parent, the organization, and Hubbard's technology of any wrongdoing. How easy is it to blame a child? How easy is it to have a gullible, naive child in front of you, and then you, what? Just read him what the convicted felon said. Oh, look, he says you pulled it in. Oh, no, you did this. You were flirting. You were tutti flowing. You did this. This is what you were doing. Tutti flows, you pulled it in. There's no victims. Victims don't exist. So why do we have a scapegoat in the thumbnail? Well, ask yourself, who are being scapegoated 24/7, 365 with full oversight of all the parents? As much as everybody wants to say, oh, it's only the Scientology executives, is them and the parents co-conspiring together to make their kids fair game, to make their kids scapegoats. Everything goes according to who? It's not just callous, it's strategic. By deeming children responsible for their own abuse, the entire system absolves the parent, the organization, and Hubbard's technology of any wrongdoing. If a Scientology parent is so-called stressed, they are taught to look for PTS factors, potential trouble sources. And guess who is often the most convenient PTS? Their own child. The Scientology kids neglected, being told they're adults, being told to knock off their emotions because nobody wants to deal with them. Stop being misemotional. Come up tone. Stop being a victim. Come up tone. So now the parent goes, oh my God, my kid is such a DB, degraded. He's always crying. It's like always crying, always dramatizing. Now, this is the Scientology parent lingo. So if you think, oh, it didn't apply to everyone, everyone was saying it. So before everyone goes, oh, everyone said it. That's how they spoke to the kids. Compliments of their Grandmaster Daddy, L. Ron Hubbard. So everyone stop playing dumb. It's not going to work. It's a waste of time. Start elevating your confront of evil. and elevate it high, because all of you need to start elevating your goddamn confront of evil. Stop being so weedy. Stop being told, oh, that's what happened. Oh, that's what happened. Oh, that's what happened. Start connecting dots yourselves, because what we do need is adult advocates. What we do need is people to come to the table with real solutions to stop the problem. Not in 20, 30 years when the IRS makes a connection that they're the ones that are implicated in subsidizing the laundering of all the felonies that is being done inside of the hotel. That's the IRS, who needs to start explaining their goddamn selves in real time. Why are people at this hotel, including Scientology adults, paying to self-admit to including but not limited to SA of underage kids, that you, the IRS, the top tier leadership of the IRS, is out there handing out subsidies to launder said self-admitted felonies? Float it away. That's what the convicted felon said to do. Float it. Oh, just float it. Float it on the e-meter. It's just going to float. You have no idea the type of technology we have inside of this disgusting hotel from hell. If a kid shows sadness, anger, or defiance, they are viewed as aberrated, labeled as dramatizing, and dragged into audit sessions, ethics handlings, including but not limited to, designed to squeeze the bad out of them. Designed to blame themselves for everything they have a problem with. There is no common sense boundaries. None. And all adults inside of the hotel are contributing to that exact level of depravity. Indefensible depravity on its face, on its merits, on its very beginning, literal, exactly what L. Ron Hubbard said to do, basis. This isn't no one's opinion. This is, go read the L. Ron Hubbard policy for yourself. And tell us where L. Ron Hubbard didn't say to change all common sense words with his BS word salad. That's what all these people go, oh, I really have a superiority complex here. I really am really smart, smarter than everybody, because I really do speak this very special language that a convicted felon taught you. A convicted felon taught you word salad. That yes, all Scientology parents, breaking news to y'all, deprogramming for free. Here you're getting deprogram for free. We're not going to charge you a cent to tell you what you need to start waking up to the facts of. These sessions are conducted by effectively kidnapping the child, holding them against their will. You cannot leave. You cannot escape. You cannot say no. You cannot say stop. You cannot say anything other than, L. Ron Hubbard is amazing, and oh my God, this is amazing. I can't believe how much I'm winning. They are effectively keeping the child kidnapped against their will inside of a hotel room or a commercial building. Which right now, Los Angeles is all about hosting the scourge of these hotels and commercial buildings that L. Ron Hubbard and his surrogates have propped up for themselves. That all of these adult paying members of these hotels, that's what you need to have in order to be a part of this chain. You have to have a paid membership, just like Soho House, just like that. It's exactly the same thing. Oh yeah, you really qualify. Oh yeah, who bet you? Oh, who said that you could come here? Oh, okay. Oh yeah, we know them. Oh, okay, great. No, yeah, let's draft up all the paperwork. You really do qualify. Lucky for you, you do qualify to be part of our deranged hotel, Soho House wannabe religion, because a lot of religion, apparently it is very religious when in the hell these adults are finding for themselves inside of these hotels. Religious beyond. You have no idea the type of religious experiences the adults are having at the expense of kids. At the expense of kids. So all of you Scientology parents that are really going to go, oh my God, Owen Hubbard is really giving me a very, very religious experience for myself. You know what? Double check. At the expense of who? That's what you need to be asking yourself. That's your deprogramming. At the expense of who are you having a religious experience? You're going to find your answer right there in that question. Answer that question to yourself in front of a mirror. If you're a Scientology parent, go ask yourself that question. At the expense of who did I have so many religious wins following the convicted felon technology that was applied to me? L. Ron Hubbard's legacy handed parents a license to harm their children under the guise of audits, processing, and ethics. That's the license that they were getting at those hotels. License. Oh, you have the total permission of this entire hotel. You have the total permission of all of these adults. You have the entire permission of all of these parents. We all treat our kids the same. We all agree everything is the same. We're all the same. All the kids are adults. They're all fair game. The Scientology kids are the fair game. Just being labeled an adult as a child. In what world does that make a child not fair game? As much as all the idiots in the media have regurgitated, oh, the fair game is this, and L. Ron Hubbard said that, the fair game was the kids. Stop being stupid. The fair game is the ones that cannot defend themselves against. That's what we keep saying. They cannot consent. If you cannot defend yourself in the situation, in what world is a child capable of consenting to be ensnared inside of these disgusting hotels and commercial buildings? Because that's where the disconnect happens from all of this conversation that we're really getting sick and tired of having, as if no one gets it. As if, oh, we're still very confused. I mean, I thought that Xenu. Shut the F up about Xenu already. The kids don't give an F about Xenu. If the adults want to believe in Xenu, you know what? Who gives an F? Who gives an F? Go believe whatever in the hell. Is it appropriate for kids to be exposed to that? Ask yourself that question and only that question. Stop wasting time. Stop playing dumb. So many of you out there playing D-U-M-B like it's free. Like, oh, let me just play dumb. Like, oh, I have no idea what's going on. I have no idea. Oh, yeah, I thought I was saving a world while all the kids were enslaved inside the hotel. You were saving a world. How? In the year 2024, that's the question you need to answer. How were you exactly saving a world? Enslaving children from all literal countries of this entire world, coming through Florida and California, the two biggest states that have supported this at an industrial size scale like you wouldn't believe. They call themselves the Mecca in Florida, just to really contextualize it. The Mecca of this is propped up by Florida. The same ones that also propped up Diddy. The same ones that also propped up Epstein. Apparently in Florida, you can just prop up all manner of shit and no one gives an F. And law enforcement couldn't be more clueless, couldn't be more out of the loop. Oh, we haven't heard. Oh, we've never seen. Oh, nothing is happening here. We see a lot of religious things going on. Right, Clearwater Police Department? That's what you see all day in Clearwater happening, right? Religious things going on. Any struggle or questioning on the child's part is supposed to be a manifestation of their reactive mind, or worse, a sign that that child is a suppressive person, a born enemy of Scientology. Those are your only options. Quickly choose them. That's how Scientology parents treat their kids. Quickly choose, decide. Are you going to be an SP? Is that what you want to be? An enemy? You know what I mean? You want to be a disgusting, degenerate enemy? Or you want to just acquiesce to all this abuse and say that you're winning, say that you're loving it? Because that's when they tell you, oh, good boy, good girl. Oh, you love it? Oh, good boy. Oh, you love it? Oh, good girl. Oh, you want to do more bridge? You really want to climb with us? You want to get to the next level just like all of us? Oh, then good boy. Oh, then good. Oh, you don't want to do it anymore? You're disgusted? What? You said L. Ron Hubbard is disgusting? What is wrong with you? You must be a suppressive. You must be a complete, disgusting suppressive that really wants to destroy the entire world. I am not kidding. That is how extreme they go. Oh, you really want to destroy all hope for all mankind? What kind of idiot, stupid adults are really with a straight face saying that in the year 2024? Really do ask yourself that right about now. And what happens to SPs in Scientology? They are exiled, disconnected, destroyed, sued, and silenced. You are groomed to know this. Doesn't matter that you're 8 years old. You're going to be told what an SP is. You're going to learn what living in exile is. There are going to be no boundaries between adult and children. For the 10th billion time, how many times do we have to repeat ourselves and say the same goddamn thing as if no one gets how that is an issue, how that is a problem? How in what world is everyone so numb is what really needs to be asked. What the F do you do to numb yourself so much that you still don't get it? That you're still acting like, oh no, but I thought they were doing a religion. That's what everyone is saying. Imagine what does that do to a child who is already vulnerable and desperate for their parents' acceptance. And going back to Lisa, you guys, what did we just see in that chapter of Lisa always feeling like she was the problem, always trying to please her mother, Priscilla always making her feel like she was a disaster, that she was a train wreck, that she was a good for nothing. And she internalized all of that. Because was she getting some help when she was getting what? Interrogated, locked up against her will? As she was groomed as a child to also sell her this sort of, oh yeah, this is really going to help you. You have no idea how much is going to help you to be data mined for all the people in the Scientology hotels to use that information against you. How is that therapeutic? That would be great for someone to start really typing in what world is it therapeutic to get data mined for all that information to be used against you. How is that therapeutic? How is that amazing? How is that being done to a child that didn't consent, that couldn't consent to understand that that's the level of participation that is going to be asked at a very minimum baseline? Anytime they're doing audits on you, anytime they're doing ethics on you, anytime they're doing disgusting grooming courses on you, that's the baseline. It's called There Are No Differences Between Adults and Children, for the idiots that still don't get it, that still don't understand it, that still think it's very complex and convoluted. It's the least complex or convoluted subject in the whole wide world. That I can guarantee you, because it all follows the policies of a convicted felon, followed to the letter. God forbid anyone changes one word of L. Ron Hubbard. One word of L. Ron Hubbard, oh my God, you can't even change one word. So what is all of this collective of adults ensnaring their kids doing? It's all right there. It's all right there. Children are groomed in Scientology to know that if they don't comply, if they don't become the perfect Scientology child, they will be labeled an SP, and they will be threatened to be cut off from their family ties. Worse yet, Scientology parents often expect their kids to defend the child trafficking scam against the outside world, even at great personal risk. If the Scientology family gets called out by neighbors or teachers, it's the child's fault for not being uptone. You're not being uptone enough, not smiling hard enough to counter the suspicion. When you went to see your WOG family, oh my God, the hotel is amazing. You have no idea. We're just doing a lot of training all the time. Everything is great. Everything is wonderful. Everything is amazing. God forbid you tip off anybody to make yourself look like a victim. Oh yeah, you really wouldn't want to come across as a victim. That's the last thing you ever want to do. And we saw that on Riley's literal Vanity Fair interview. What does she say at the end of that entire interview? Oh, I don't want anyone to think that I'm a victim. Children are weaponized as defenders of the L. Ron Hubbard rhetoric, all against their own best interests. And because Scientology teaches them that they are responsible for every harm that befalls them, these kids grow up carrying mountains of guilt, shame, and self-blame. They've been taught since before they could fully understand the words that if something bad happens to them, it's their goddamn fault. This mindset warps their sense of self so thoroughly that by the time they reach adulthood, they've often been unable to see the abuse they've endured as anything but a personal failure. All the word salad language of L. Ron Hubbard is the grooming that ensnares you all to blame that on yourself. The words of L. Ron Hubbard are applied on you. They push buttons. Oh, you're surfacking. Oh, you're making us wrong. Oh, you have an evil purpose. Oh, you really have a lot of withholds. Oh, you're a 1-1. Insults that are just part of their word salad superiority complex from hell, from a convicted felon, because they're all just so proud. Oh, wow, we're so proud. We really do speak a very special language. We really are really special. Oh, and we're really religious. Bunch of phonies, bunch of clowns. Every single last one of you. Let's get real about what this does to a child's psyche. Children in Scientology households don't know unconditional love. They don't know. They only know conditional tolerance based on their adherence to Hubbard's warped teachings. Oh, you're complaining? Then sit in front of each other and sit down there for the next 2 hours and confront. You're not allowed to talk. You're not allowed to move. You're not allowed to fidget. You're not allowed to nothing. For 2 hours, sit in front of each other and just sit there and shut the F up and say nothing. And anytime you move, the clock will go back to 0. So in what world is a dehumanizing torture a communication tool, Scientology parents? That's what you need to start making sense right now. In what world are torturing a child a communication drill that really was helping our communication? That's what you need to make sense. Start making sense of that. Since all Scientology parents know what the TRs are, since that's how they were handling our emotions. Get your TR0 in. Oh, you're reacting. Oh, your TR0's out. Get it in. Get it in. That's all it took for us to have to go, oh, I was just literally essayed in a bathroom. Oh, let me just get my TR0 in. Oh, no, everything is great. L. Ron Hubbard is wonderful. Everything is amazing at this hotel. Everything. My TR0 is in. Yes, sir. No, sir. I will, sir. Absolutely, sir. No, you're totally right, sir. I'm in lower condition, sir. I am not a good productive Sea Org member, sir. I am a complete and utter piece of shit, sir. You're totally right, sir. No, you're right, sir. I should have never put this on your line, sir. Why are children speaking to adults like that? Why is everyone so comfortable with that? Why? Scientology parents can literally be ordered to disconnect from their child if their child doesn't comply with Hubbard's extremist rhetoric that is not suitable for any child. If the kid tries to reach out for help, they're dismissed or punished. If the child attempts to leave, they're labeled as damaged goods. So what is left for these kids? They grow up believing that they are inherently bad, that they are responsible for their own suffering, and that they are expendable at the first sign of non-compliance. That's a word. Oh, I'm going to write a non-compliance report on you because you didn't comply to orders of a convicted felon. Why are children being forced to comply to orders written by a convicted felon? That's what we need to understand right the F now. Why does a convicted felon write a policy and then the kids are told you need to comply to this or I'm going to write you up, going to write a report on you for non-complying to something written by a convicted felon? Does anyone have a good answer for that one? I would love to hear what the defense for that is. The abuse by proxy doctrine handed down by a convicted criminal who is masqueraded as a philosopher is the ultimate betrayal. The abuse by proxy doctrine handed down by a convicted criminal who masqueraded as a philosopher is the ultimate betrayal. Who pitched L. Ron Hubbard as a humanitarian philosopher, Mike Grinder? We're paging you, directly you. How did you sanitize L. Ron Hubbard's image to really pitch him as some humanitarian that really wanted to do a lot of great stuff around the world. You have no idea what a great person he was, this L. Ron Hubbard. In what world have you corrected the record? Because go double check what in the hell you've been typing to sanitize the record. To continue pitching L. Ron Hubbard as if he had any goddamn good ideas. As if you don't know that by now. As if you don't literally know that by now, my Grinder. Imagine being you with full knowledge. You're even worse than David Miscavige because you with full knowledge, you with full time to decompress, you with full knowledge of having zero undue influence. For how many decades and counting now? Oh, but let me really write 1 billion years and let me really write this about this religion, and we really were trying to do a lot of religion. You don't even believe your own lies because you know you couldn't have been more delusional and you couldn't have been more thirsty to what in the hell you did with that power. You and the rest of your buddies at the hotel, Mike Rinder. It wasn't just you. Lucky for you, you got hundreds, if not thousands, of accomplices. Because that's how your little network worked, right? Talk about organized crime. Talk about being organized. Really like knowing, putting everyone there to report, to record, to transcribe, to sign, to consent. Where are you going to claim that you have no clue? Because you did. That's your problem, that you had a clue. That's your problem, that you were data mining. That's your problem, that you were sniffing for information with all the wrong ways of doing that and exposing all underage kids to that. You and the rest of your buddies. You and the rest of the Scientology parents. It's the whole lot of y'all. Stop pointing the finger. Oh, it was that one. It was all of you together. All. How did kids get ensnared in this operation? Because parents brought them in. This was not the human trafficking like Epstein. This was not we were all in high school minding our business and then someone grabbed us and then, no. This was our parents brought us to the Epstein mansion. Our parents brought us to the P. Diddy freak-off party. Our parents brought us to the Scientology hotel. Our parents. They prepared us. Oh, really learn this language because in there at the hotel, you can trust everyone. Daddy, that recruiter is saying weird shit. He's an OT8. He's an OT8. Are you being critical of an OT8? What's wrong with you? You're being critical of an OT8? What is wrong with you? Well, he won't leave me alone. See, there you are being more critical. I think I really need to send you to ethics. Let me write you a report right now. My son came back from the hotel and said that the recruiter, Nassim Moscona, was very weird. Very, very critical. Here, go get yourself handled in ethics. So now you're being sent to the hotel to get interrogated. Oh, look, your dad says that you said this about a Sea Org member that's an OT8? What's wrong with you? You're a disgusting, degraded, you're nowhere on the bridge. He's an OT8. Hubbard made parents believe that his doctrine would clear their families, make them stronger. What it really did was make parents turn their own children into prisoners within their own homes, bound by fear, by guilt, and by Hubbard's sick, indefensible, degenerate-inducing so-called legacy. So That's what we're raising awareness about. The plight of every single kid that is stuck and snared as we speak today. Hundreds, if not thousands of kids are still full-blown in the clutches of these hotels and commercial buildings. Nothing has been reined back. Nothing has been put any common sense around. The Scientology parents refuse to acknowledge that there's any problem with ensnaring kids in what they are all full knowing. Imagine that they went and got audits. They went and got ethics handlings. They went and did the disgusting grooming courses. And where are they on the record? Where can you find any of them repudiating what all the things that they all collectively, as a collective, normalized? That's the good thing that they got going for themselves. It's not like it can be like, oh, it was just that one that did it. Oh, it was just that one. They all did it together. It took thousands of them to agree to this level of abomination being normalized on an industrial size scale for it to be. This didn't happen by mistake. This happened by design. This didn't happen because they disagreed with the policy of making children adults. It's because they all agreed with the policy that all children were adults. The adult in a child's body is a whooping gaslighting turnoff. At the same time, L1 Hubbard was probably laughing at his sleeve at the gullible parents. I mean, it's so disgusting, and exactly what you're saying here. It's like the gaslighting is so obvious. It's so egregious. It's so indefensible, like completely, like it's not even close to anything that could ever make sense. But the Scientology parents, the narcissists that they were seeking these statuses that blinded them from everything. All of a sudden, if they were being told that they were OT5s, that somehow they were like, oh, I'm OT5. They told me I was OT5. Oh my God, I'm great. I'm amazing. And it's like you have all these mothers that climbed all those levels and they couldn't have been more deranged because they became like the perfect step forward mother, wife from hell. And it didn't happen just one. It didn't happen to just two. It didn't happen to just three. It got to all of them. They all poison themselves as they read the rhetoric, as they become so pressed for the approval of their Grandmaster Daddy, L. Ron Hubbard, that everything becomes secondary. Their kids don't matter. Nothing matters. It's just the approval that they get at the hotel that they're so enamored with. Hello, Team Elvis. My brain can't make any sense of this. It's thousands of people. I mean, thousands of families. I mean, again, you guys, this was a family affair. The whole thing was contaminate as many of your family as you can. Remember, the whole mission is like the more you get in, the more you get paid for. So for all that could be confused, where was the incentive? They got paid 10% for bringing their family into it. And they took that seriously. That incentive was serious because you know what? It was like them being, imagine they're like, I mean, to really put it into perspective, imagine that they're all of a sudden now becoming this like real estate people, right? But imagine even realtors don't get paid 10%. They don't get to pay 10%. Well, here they do. So imagine that they're selling packages of, oh, we just sold a package of $500,000. Oh, I just got a $50,000 check. And that's why it becomes this millionaires club, because that's where they all start. Like, that's where you have the Grant Cardones, the Bob Duggans, the Trish Duggans, all these millionaires and all this stuff. Those are the people that are paying for these packages, bringing more people in. They're not the slaves. They're paying to have slaves at the hotel. So Grant Cardone is not a slave. Grant Cardone pays to have children inside of these hotels to be his slaves when he shows up to the hotel. And it's thousands and thousands of thousands, at least over 7 decades that L. Ron Hubbard has been doing this. But, let's say the last 50 decades, especially since the IRS approved them as a so-called religion, especially since the IRS decided to aid and abet all the disgusting things that these people have been doing at those hotels, either completely unbeknownst to the IRS, they had no clue, they had no idea, which would have just meant that they did no shred of due diligence, because all the policies of L. Ron Hubbard are so crystal clear. Nothing that we're discussing here is, it's our opinion, this really shouldn't have been done. We're talking about kids. We're talking about systemic, institutionalized policies that are to be adhered to the letter. You're not allowed to change one word of L. Ron Hubbard. And that's always being monitored, by video recorded, by getting it graded, by really double checking. So it's the fact that there's so much oversight that erodes any plausible deniability for Priscilla going, but I had no clue. Priscilla, did you get audits? Yes. Good. Priscilla, did you know that they were being video recorded? Yes. Good. Priscilla, did you know that they were keeping transcriptions of everything you wrote? Yes. Good. Priscilla, did you know that there's a case supervisor that reads every single word and then double checks what is being said in the 5, 6, 7 hour session? Yes. So what part did you not know? Because that's the problem. What part did these people not know? The tech cannot be changed. It is still all happening now, despite any false propaganda put out by COS. I mean, again, they haven't been called out for this, you guys, because, they're not being called out. They're still all being laundered, whitewashed, sanitized, low confront of evil, low confront of the facts, complete glib, like, let's really talk about this. They're just like the Mormons. They're just all these false equivalences to confuse people, to confuse the narrative, to confuse that this was, just about the First Amendment. You have no idea. Like the First Amendment, you can just do whatever in the hell you want. It's basically, that's what these people are doing. They can just, with the First Amendment, we can grab the works of a convicted felon, apply them to the letter, even though a convicted felon maybe would have had ideas that lead across a bridge where once you land on the other side, you might be actually violating the literal law as written. The toothless, pathetic platitudes that we have that say, really holding someone against their will is real criminal. But all of a sudden, if you just write across, then, no, never mind. No one can think about that anymore. That's how easy, manipulatable, easy to circumvent these laws have been. Because all we have is like this idea that, we really are a country that really should be respected because we really wrote a lot of stuff on a piece of paper that no one's around to enforce, check if it's even possible that it's being applied, because everyone's very innocent. As of the year 2024, these people are really like trying to save our world. And the kids that got enslaved keep being told, like, what's your problem? Like, this is America. Like, if you don't like it, why did you come here? Did you get the part where I never consented to be here? No. Apparently, that's the part that we are still being misunderstood about. Sound the alarm. Ex-witness Vernon. Question, sir, do you think if Rinder goes to the FBI, he can redeem himself? I mean, sure. It's and again, it's not just Rinder. It's Rinder and every single last Scientology parent that brought their kid into this. I mean, Rinder just happened to be a very top of that pyramid scheme. But in what world is the FBI going to be able to turn a blind eye if 100 Scientology parents turn up there, willing cooperators, telling them what in the hell they've done. Not, oh no, but I thought I was saving a world by trafficking, textbook child trafficking my child. That's the problem with the child trafficking laws, you guys. When you start comparing what it is, and then you start looking at this business model that they propped up for themselves, you're like, hello? How the F can this be more obvious? So all can redeem themselves. They can start getting deals with the actual authorities, not the ones inside of a hotel that have no reason to be practicing law without a license. Because the 2-week course that L. Ron Hubbard teaches is surrogates is a joke. And that's all it took for all these people to be practicing. So, corn-free. Grant Cardone was at the MAGA rally. Yeah. Yeah. Well, you know, we're going to definitely. Hello, Scientology up north. Looking forward to tomorrow. Yes. Yes, yes, yes. Okay, you guys. Well, that is all for today. Thank you all for supporting. Thank you all for watching. Thank you all for helping us continue to advocate for a day that there will be no more kids stuck inside the Scientology hotels or commercial buildings. Thank you all. Bye-bye.